family. I'll try this, and no greater science than just to say, and it took, but it wasn't a goal. It just was the only thing I heard about it. Well, let's try this. Go ahead.
I don't know. I've been acting and I've been doing a lot of TV and stuff and on camera. And I think my agent just called me one day and said, go out for this animated thing. And I did. I'm trying to remember what the first one was.
Was animation your first kind of voiceover stuff you?
No, probably the first voiceover, well, it was animated, but the first voiceover was the Ness's Quick Bunny.
Yeah.
So, and I did that for 34 years, but, so that was probably the first one in the mid-70s, and then I went into, Captain Marvel Jr. and Pac-Man and all kinds of weird stuff, but, yeah, I just got into it, and I loved it, and it's the easiest kind of acting in a way, because it's just, first of all, it's a joy.
Yeah.
You also meet the very, very best people. The voice acting community is just a community of the most fun human beings you could ever imagine. It's just such a wonderful group to be with. Not always true with television or film, although mostly it is. Most actors are wonderful people, but there once in a while you get ego. You don't get that in voice acting. You just have you really create a family, and when you get an opportunity to work for 10 years on something, one thing, gosh, you really create a family. You really get to know everybody so well and care about everybody. But it's an incredible way to work, and it's a joy. It really is a joy, and I'm so glad that I found it as part of what I do.
I just have a question for you guys. Did either of you set your sights on doing animation when you were a kid or when you were younger? Was it something you set out to do?
Yeah, because we just wanted 50 different kinds of entertainment.
Like that for me.
That you ended up falling into, and then it became what it became.
Well, I closed the doors for me, and I closed the doors on the
Other areas, I just went, well, this one is working. I don't need to keep taking more headshots. Someone will be writing a commercial for tags.
I just know it. The first one I did was when I was a kid, because I was a curious kid for a while.
Oh,
and so I was like 13, 14 years old. Yeah, no, it was over.
It was the same with me. I didn't grow up. I grew up watching cartoons for sure, but I wasn't one of these videos. So many of the guys went into in our business, set out wanting to be cartoon voices ever since they were little kids. So they look at the credits and they see who was doing it, where the studios were that they were recording, all that kind of stuff. And that wasn't us. But for me, I ended up getting into radio when I was about 20. I was a DJ, a rock jock for about 10 years. And also did a lot of theater in my hometown of Cleveland. And that's when I started doing voiceover work, was when I was on the radio. But I moved out here, not out here to Indiana, but out to California when I was 30 in 1984, so 1884.
1884, right.
And,
of course.
With the idea that I wanted to just go do acting. I wanted to be in TV shows and films and that kind of thing. That was my focus. I certainly wasn't going out to do voiceover. I had a good tape at the time, a demo, that I knew that I could probably do some voiceover work, commercial work, just to make some money while I was trying to get the acting career off the ground. But 6 months, 6 months after I moved there, I got this audition for Inspector Gadget. And so I had never thought about doing a cartoon before, but I went on this audition and never done an audition like that before. But they show you a picture of the character, a description of the character, give you some sample lines of what the character would say. And I looked at this character and the description of him, and I immediately had an idea of what I thought he would sound like. So I did that for them, and they laughed. And I thought, well, this is a good sign. And so we sort of played with it a little more, and a couple of days later, I ended up booking this part for the last 10 episodes of the series. And I found myself in a studio in Burbank with Maurice LaMarche. It was his first animation series as well. Frank Welker, sitting next to me. I didn't know who Frank was at the time.
Oh my
Of course,
gosh.
he's the, the king, the
Yes.
master in our business. And then on the other side, there was Don Adams, who, of course, I knew from Get Smart when I was a kid watching it. And I couldn't, it was just the four of us in the studio, and I thought, wow, this is really weird. And so we did this episode, and I had such a blast doing it. That was such an eye-opener. I said to my agent, please send me out more of this kind of stuff. This is fun. And then, one thing led to another, as I'm sure happened with you guys, and, you just start to focus on that, and that really kind of became my career. So it's crazy. I mean, that's how we did it.
So rather accidentally, in other words, accidentally and not by plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sir.
And
This will be the